Hello everyone. For those of you who've seen my recently uploaded video covering Victory Show this year, you'll see I spoke to Harry, a member of the American Infantry Association. He took me around their display, and he also gave me a Reproduction American K ration very kindly. He gifted me an example of one of these which have been produced for the group. They're also produced for sale, and we're going to have a look at the one he gifted me, which is a supper unit. We're going to have a look at that in some detail in this video, basically as a review. Provide contact details should you wish to purchase one of these yourselves. So that's what we're going to have a look at in the video, is this reproduction example of the supper unit of a K ration. So here it is, the K ration supper unit. This was made by Ross Harris, who was already mentioned is part of the American Infantry Association. He can be contacted through Facebook to talk about pricing and so forth for these if you wish to purchase them after watching the review. So there's a pinned comment down below with a link to his Facebook page should you wish to make contact with him. We'll have a look at the outer packaging first of all. Of course, these come in a brown cardboard outer sleeve, which has various details here. This is I believe type 3B if I remember correctly. This is a type introduced in February and produced through May of 1944. And you have details on the outside. You have something that was added to the design, the mosquito warning on the side here, as you can see. You have the contents on the back here. And as this is a supper unit, you have S on each end, so that if they were stacked this way, you could easily tell what part of the meals this was. You see the manufacturer, the reproduced manufacturer here on the side, the reproduction of an original manufacturer's marking on the side, and obviously the printing on the front, which we were just looking at before. So very, very crisp and clear printing, an excellent reproduction of judging from photographs of originals I've seen. Very nicely reproduced overall, the outer packaging. The K ration, just to talk a little bit about what exactly this is, obviously you have the 3 units that make up the ration, and we're going to be looking at the supper unit in this instance. So 3 meals essentially per day. It is supposed to fulfill something similar to the British 24-hour ration role in providing an initial ration for landing troops. Indeed, this evolved from something called the Parachutist Ration. And the idea was that these would be provided to men where no other food supplies would be available during initial operations, initial landing operations, be there air landing or seaborne landing. And then there would be a change over onto less processed food, more fresh food and so forth, or certainly better rations, even if you had to stay on processed and tinned food for a while. The idea is you wouldn't be on K rations for very long. Of course, in British use, in the jungle, troops ended up subsisting on these for much longer than was intended, and that was one problem with them. They were often used where they really shouldn't have been, that is to say for sustained periods of time, and men subsisting on these lost quite a lot of weight because they don't actually provide in the long term enough calories, particularly for active soldiers obviously, who are burning a lot of calories every day. So we have the supper unit here. We'll open this up, have a look at the inside of this. So you can see here you have supper unit printed on there as well underneath the wax coating. You can see there. I've been advised the best way to open up this is to slide a knife in. So we'll do that just to get underneath the glue here. Nope, I've gone under the wrong side there. Too deep in. 1 second. Don't want to damage the packaging as much as I can because it would be good to display this. There we go. That's one side unpeeled and the other. We'll slide the contents out and have a look at these. So we have here the tin, and you have the corn pork loaf here, which is the meat portion of the ration. I have to say the printing, the label on the top of there looks excellent. So you have that there, corn pork loaf. And again, this looks very good compared to photos I've seen of original tins from these. Nice crisp printing. And then we have a little pack of Old Gold cigarettes. I'm not going to open these, but they are in a cellophane wrapped package, so keep these for display. So you do get a little pack of 5 cigarettes. I think it's 5 if I remember correctly, 4 or 5. Possibly 4 across, I can't remember off the top of my head, but anyway, that's correct to the ration as well, having a little pack of cigarettes like that, which will continue opening up. So, a feature of this version of the ration was the plastic wrapping for the biscuits and the bouillon powder and so forth, and that's actually noted on the front. You can see open in a bag carefully. It may be used to waterproof container for matches, cigarettes, etc. So the idea of this is not only does it keep the biscuits waterproof and so forth. But once you've opened this up, you can use the plastic packaging to wrap up things you want to keep waterproof in your pockets, matches for example. So we have in here the correct number of the biscuits there. Note the back of the packaging here does provide a list of the contents. So you've got an envelope of bouillon powder there, as you can see. You have the biscuits, 2 packages of biscuits, which you can see in there, the correct number of biscuits, and they look to be the right size and the right style of biscuits. And then you have here, if I can turn this over here, sweet chocolate. You can see that there. And that's all contained within a little cellophane wrapped block there, which slots in neatly into the box. And there is, if I slide this out here, the roll of toilet paper here, as you can see, and again in a correct style of brown paper wrapper there with the manufacturer's stamp on there. Again, very close replica of those I've seen in period photographs. It's an impressive level of detail there in the reconstruction. So one thing I'd just missed, which had got caught up in amongst the other bits and pieces, the 1 stick of chewing gum, which again is in a nice, well, it's a modern piece of chewing gum obviously, but in a nice reproduction wrapper, as you can see there, leaf mint chewing gum. So that's rather nice to see as well. So you've got all the components there of this era of K-Ration. I'm not going to fully unwrap these, as I say. I believe these are edible, but you'd have to check with Ross about that regarding, you know, food safety and so forth. I imagine these are sold primarily for display, and then obviously you can choose to eat these if you want to. They do appear to be made obviously with the full contents, as you would expect. So we have there the contents of a K-Ration supper unit, which I have to say is very nicely reproduced, and I'll probably think about purchasing some more of these to go along with the Chindic kit. It'll be nice to have a bit more in terms of the ration display. I do have some reproductions, but not, let's say, I don't believe they really quite reach this standard in terms of the quality of the reproduction. So I'm very, very impressed with this. And yeah, I have to say, overall, just check on here, it might say pack of 4 cigarettes. There we go. Yes, so it is 4 cigarettes in there, not 5. I thought I'd say just mild confusion there. I couldn't remember off the top of my head whether it was a 4 or a 5 pack of cigarettes. So there it is. Very impressed with this overall, I have to say. The contents are beautifully reproduced, and whether you want this for display or perhaps to use in reenacting, I can recommend these. The overall quality of the reproduction really is there and absolutely superb. And I say if you're interested in purchasing these, obviously the 3 different parts of the unit are reproduced, and I've been advised that they can be reproduced right the way through from the initial production type in 1942 after the experimentations in 1941, right the way through to end of production. Just ask for the version of this that you want and it can be reproduced. So if you want to inquire about these, get in touch with Ross and see if he can help you out. Very, very impressed with this, I have to say, and I will probably be purchasing some of these myself. So there we are. I hope you found it interesting looking at this. Hopefully it's been of use. Obviously of limited utility really for British reenactment. It's quite, the use by British forces is quite specific. Obviously the Chindits did make extensive use of these, but nevertheless, hopefully this video was interesting. If you have found this interesting and you'd like to see more of this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell, the notification button down below. That will of course alert you when I upload future videos. If you really like my uploads and you would like to support the channel, you can. Both Patreon and PayPal are linked down below. And as ever, a huge thank you to everybody who supports the channel using those 2 methods. It's greatly appreciated, as I always say. Thank you all very much indeed. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, you can. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all linked down below. And if you'd like to get in touch but you don't really use social media, there is of course an email address down there as well. That's everything for this video. So until next time, bye for now.